industry. It's very likely, es muy probable, it's very possible that California is number one. If California were, aquí voy a pasar al condicional, si California fuera un país, fuera, no lo es, pero si lo fuera. If California were, fijaos digo were y no was, if California were a country, it would be number 6 in the world. What's the most, in gross domestic product, what's the most important country in the world? What's the biggest country in the world? In gross national product or gross domestic product, which is almost the same. There's a difference. Producto Nacional Bruto, Producto Interior Bruto. There's a small difference, but it's not important for this English class. What's the biggest country? Well, the United States is number 1. What country is number 2 in gross domestic product? Do you know? What country is number 2? Do you know, Claire? China is number 2, because China has 1.4 million people. What country is number 3? Any idea? Okay, Japan is number 3. And what country is number 4? The 4th biggest country, or the 4th most important country in gross domestic product is Germany. What's the 5th? Do you know? The 5th most important country is France. Okay, what's the 6th? Well, the 6th most important country in gross domestic product is Brazil. But if California were a country, it would be number 6, not Brazil. Okay? Now you can check my figures on this. Puedes verificarlo. I'm not 100% sure. So you can write an email. Cloverdale, you made a mistake. Okay? Maybe I'm forgetting a country. The United Kingdom, perhaps. The gross domestic product of the United Kingdom. Is it more important or less important than the gross domestic product of France? Very recently, there have been some changes in the ranking. It's an interesting question. I don't remember if the United Kingdom is more important or less important than France now, today, in gross domestic product. You go to your internet or go to your almanac and find the statistics. Okay, that's your homework for the next class. Okay, what's the hottest country or the hottest state in the United States? The hottest state is Arizona. What's the coldest state? The coldest state is Alaska. And what's the most humid state in the United States? This is interesting. The most humid state in the United States, not the wettest, but the most humid state is Washington. And not Washington, D.C., the location of the country's capital. The most humid state is Washington State. It's located in the west. What's the most important city in Washington State? Do you know? Do you know, Claire? The director of this program doesn't know the answer. The most important city in Washington State is Seattle. Okay? Now, is Washington State on the eastern coast or on the western coast? Is Washington State on the Atlantic coast or the Pacific coast? It's very easy. Washington State in the United States is the equivalent of Galicia in Spain. It's in the northwest. Washington State is a state about the same size as Andalusia, very similar to Wyoming and Colorado and Oregon, and it's located in the northwest. And it's humid. It rains more than in the center of Spain, yes, but it doesn't rain a lot, but it's humid. It's not dry, it's humid. But it's not wet. Wet is mucho lluvia. Humid is humedad en el aire. And in Galicia it rains a lot, because in Santiago de Compostela they say where rain is art, donde la lluvia es arte. But in Washington it doesn't rain too much, but it's very humid. It's very humid. What's the second most important city in Washington? Do you know? The second most important city is Tacoma. And the third most important city is Spokane. And Spokane is located in the east, near the Rocky Mountains, not on the coast. Okay? And Seattle is a very important city. It's very important for many reasons. And probably the most important activity in Seattle is fishing. La industria pesquera, el sector pesquero, the fishing industry, is very important in Seattle. Okay? And Washington is in the north of the United States, next to Canada. You can cross from America to Canada at the border between Washington and British Columbia. La Columbia Britannica, Vancouver, is the most important city in British Columbia. And so it's very far north, but it's not cold. It's not cold, like in Galicia. If you're in Burgos in Spain, it's cold. And Galicia is farther north than Burgos, but it's not cold because the Gulf Stream, la corriente del Golfo, the Gulf Stream warms Galicia. And the Pacific Stream, okay, warms Washington. And the state immediately south, Oregon. Very beautiful area of the United States. Very beautiful. Many people like to live in Washington and in Oregon because they're very beautiful states. And many people move, se traslada, se muda. Many people move from other parts of the United States because in Washington and in Oregon, in the northwest of the United States, the quality of life is very high. The climate is very nice, but the cost of living is very high too. So, uno de cal y otro de arena. Not everything is perfect in Washington and Oregon. It's expensive. Okay. So, we're going to continue another day maybe with geography, demography, statistics, vital figures and things. But we'll continue with some different aspect of the English language in our next classes. Study, okay? And study your atlas. Become literate, alfabeto geográfico. Don't be a geographical illiterate, okay? It's not good. All right? See you soon. Bye-bye.